Hey class, this is Mrs. Lynn. Welcome to another week of remote learning. Now, you guys, as eighth graders, are down to your final stretch here. I think you have maybe about 2 or 3 weeks left, or maybe 3 weeks before graduation. So, I just want to encourage you to keep up the work that you've been doing. If you've been struggling with the computer assignments so far, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm very happy to walk you through any of the concepts that we've been learning since the beginning of remote learning. Um, so just go ahead and like email me or request a Zoom meeting, and I'll be happy to walk through the assignments with you. So far, we've been covering concepts in coding such as sequencing, debugging, conditionals, loops, and this week we're going to move on to variables. Now, I know I've talked about variables with you guys in at least last year, in a couple years, especially since some of you have taken the coding elective with me in the past. So I know this is not a brand new concept. It shouldn't be for most of you. But if you feel like you need a little bit of review, I will post a couple videos for you in the Google assignment. So you remember this guy from I think last year. We've watched his videos. He does a pretty good job of explaining what variables are and why we use them. So I'll post two of his videos on the classroom assignment page. But Tynker also does a pretty good job through the notes explaining how to use variables. So make sure you watch those videos if you struggle with how to define variables and when and where to use them. And you can always reach out to me too, and I can explain it to you in a Zoom meeting. So let's go into the Tinker activity for the week. I actually found this week's lesson to be pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward, actually. So hopefully you won't have any issues with it. But when you get into the first lesson or the first level, it's basically a notes page explaining what variables are. Okay. And in the first sentence, it just says, in programming, variables are used to store data. In the videos I'm going to be posting, the guy explains it kind of in a similar way. Think of it as a container in which data can be stored, right? So a container for you to store data. And we want to use variables because sometimes programmers, when as they're programming, don't actually know what information is going to go into this variable. So think about any of the apps you might use where user has some sort of input, like any online quizzes that you take, anything like that, even a calculator, right? The programmer at the time of writing code doesn't know what information the user is going to input. Okay, but they know that the user is going to be inputting some sort of information. So they need to basically create a container or a variable in order to store that data. Okay, and then that data or the variable can then be used in the program once it's basically been declared or populated with information. Another reason to use variables is sometimes you have a piece of information that's used over and over again in your programming. So in your program. So in rather than basically repeating that piece of information over and over again in your code, you're going to just declare it as a variable in the very beginning of your program, and then in your code, you can just refer to that variable instead of saying, let's say, a number over and over again. And then if that information changes, and for most programs, variables can change throughout the code or the program. Um, if that variable changes, you don't have to comb through your entire code to change that number every time you use that number. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. It's very similar to Google Sheets in a way, like when I stress why you use cell addresses instead of when we do formulas, why you use cell addresses instead of just a number. It's because something like that. When you change that number in a place, you have to comb through your entire Google Sheet to change that number, versus if you had just used a cell address, you can just change it in one place. All right, so hopefully as you read through the notes and watch the videos, that becomes very evident to you why we use variables. And I want you to, as you go through these puzzles, to think of various programs where variables are used. um, I believe in the videos, they use a example where a variable keeps track of the number of lives you have in a video game, right? And then so that number of lives could be a variable because that changes as the player plays the game, right? So any time where you have a piece of information that could be changed throughout the game, such as energy level or number of lives, or maybe the number of coins somebody can collect in a video game, you would use a variable for that, okay? Because it changes. All right, so without further ado, let's look at a couple of the levels. Um, Again, some of these notes you can skip if you read and you feel like you are pretty confident in what it is. You don't actually have to really do it yourself lab if you don't want to. You can skip those. Just make sure you understand how it works. Let's go to like level 2 or 3 and see what it's showing. I think it was level 9 that I actually really want to show you. Okay. All right. But level 2 introduces a variable called energy. Okay. And it says basically, in order for the little avatar to move through the little steps, they need 10 energy points per step. Okay. Or per space. So right now in this program, you see that the energy is declared to be 0. But if you count the number of steps the character needs in order to reach the treasure, it's 3, right? So 3 times 10 is 30. So the character actually needs 30 energy in order to complete this level. So you're going to declare that energy level to be 30, and then you're going to program it as usual. So um, you can say if, um, so you can say forward, turn right, right, um, turn left. And notice I'm not using a loop here just because right now the program is relatively small. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in my steps. So I'm going to go forward, turn left, forward twice. Okay. My energy level is set at 30 because there's 30 or 3 steps to my level. All right. All right, so that's how you set a variable. You declare the variable by just naming it something, and then you use that equal sign to declare it, and then the 30 is that initial value. All right, so you're gonna move through the levels pretty quickly, I believe. I've gone through all the levels, and they're pretty straightforward. But I want to skip to level 9 to show you this. Variable that it's a new variable that you're going to be introduced to, and it's called get enemy health. Okay, and actually it's a command that returns the number of health points that your enemy has. Okay, so if you look at the code here that's been set for you, again, that code is not complete, but it says for eye and range, get enemy health, okay, do something. So this line right here, line 5, okay, basically says get enemy health, Okay, and in this case, it would be 3, right? So the command gets the number of health points that the enemy has, which in this case is 3, and then use that number as the loop, as the number of times you would loop something. Okay, so for I in the range of, in this case, 3, okay, what do you want the character to do? Okay, so if the character has 3, basically you want um, them to be firing those arrows, right? So as long as the enemy still has a health point, right, it's going to fire these arrows. Okay, so that's what this little command line does. It basically gets the health point of the enemy. As you get further down in levels, you're going to be using that quite a bit as a part of a loop. Okay, so that way you don't have to predetermine how many times you have to fire the arrow. You're just going to use that command line um, in the loop so that the enemy will, sorry, the character will always be firing as many shots as it needs to get rid of that enemy. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. If not, again, you can request a Zoom meeting with me at any time during the week so I can clear that up for you. But again, this lesson is actually pretty easy as far as I can see. I didn't run into any trouble. So good luck with it. Have fun and have a good rest of the week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hope to hear from you soon. Bye. Oh, and remember, before I sign off, remember as you're done with the activities here in Tynker, to go back to Google Classroom and mark that activity or classroom assignment as complete. That way, you're not getting a bunch of notifications saying that it's incomplete or missing. And I also know when to go into Tynker and start grading your assignments. This is due next week, I think May 5th. So you have a whole week to do it. All right. Talk to you later. Have a great week.